Good morning. Happy Thursday. Long time no see. I was reminded in my Discord the other day, yesterday, day before, I don't remember, it all blurs together, about the Rusty Moore situation. Every Audit the Audit video I have ever watched has been egregious, to say the least. I mean, if you want to like him, if you want to like his content, that's fine. That's between you and him and God or whoever. But I have yet to see him make content. Every video, I think I've watched 3 of his videos, and I've made reactions to all of them, and they're just all terribad. Anyway, he gave the cop an F. And he gave Rusty, I can't figure out. I can't grade Rusty on this one. Oh, but here's Rusty's GoFundMe and, blah, 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 right? And when I watched it, I thought the cop did an excellent job. She wasn't aggressive. She was calm. She was collected. She was doing all the standard cop things, trying to, get him to put his PIN number into the phone so he could call his daughter, right? Which is never put your PIN in the phone. I mean, that's just giving the cop license to look through it now. Don't do that. And he didn't, but like all the evidence was just that this dude's a junkie, or at least has been a junkie significantly in the past. He's got at least, I think he had 2 DUIs previous to this particular stop, one of which was allegedly for meth, at least according to him. It's like all the stuff, like it was pretty easy for me to be like, well, looking objectively at all of the evidence, she did a good job. It was valid. She met her burden of proof as far as the probable cause is concerned. I mean, not only did she notice, and the other DRE drug recognition expert cop, they both cops on the stop noticed that he had all the signs of stimulant use, and sure enough, he had stimulants in the car. He had the Adderall. I reviewed the transcript. The transcript didn't have anything suggesting any sort of a valid defense because he was trying to use the prescription drug offense. He didn't provide a prescription. He didn't provide any expert to testify about the prescription use and what the levels in the bloodstream would be at that point in time, etc. He provided none of that. But the big issue is that he also had to prove that the prescription drug wasn't impairing him. He wasn't impaired. And you had plenty of evidence provided both by the cop who initially pulled him over, who was not the cop that testified, and the witness who called it in, that he was in fact driving impaired. So when I last talked about it, oral arguments had been made in his appeal. Now, remember, this isn't the actual DUI. This isn't the actual crime DUI. This is a license revocation for the driving under the influence. And there are 2 different actions. The DUI is a criminal action. The license revocation is a civil action, where the I don't know what they call it in, was it Michigan or Minnesota? Whatever. I don't know what they call it in that state, but it's basically the Department of Motor Vehicles suspends your license or maybe revokes it. I don't remember which. So there's a lower standard of proof. It's a different ball game. But the criminal DUI was basically suspended pending the outcome of this appeal. They have a hearing coming up, an omnibus hearing is what they call it, where they handle all the pending motions in the criminal action prior to trial. And that's on September 24th, I believe. Double check me, I could be wrong. But anyway, we got the results of the appeal back. And lo and behold, Rusty lost his appeal. The Court of Appeals found that, they didn't even have to address whether or not it was a valid prescription or whether or not he was taking it at therapeutic levels, even though there wasn't sufficient evidence presented for them to make that determination. There was, according to the Court of Appeals, sufficient evidence for the district court judge to find that he was under the influence, that his ability to drive was impaired. So Rusty lost that appeal. So once again, Audit the Audit has just terrible understanding of the law or procedure or anything like that. If he couldn't see this coming, if a first-year family law attorney in California could see this coming and he couldn't, well, there's your sign about how good his analysis is. On less happy news, in double checking everything before making this video, I do see that Rusty did have an unlawful detainer action against him, which was either an eviction or a collections notice for unpaid rent at a prior location. It appears that, I don't know if he won or lost that one, but simply because it happened means that Rusty is in pretty bad financial straits. I don't have anything personally against Rusty, despite his rather exhaustive criminal record and the fact that he was probably driving while intoxicated. Despite that, if you are inclined, maybe you do want to go to his GoFundMe, because dude was a truck driver by profession, which is, again, incomprehensible to me that someone with 2 DUIs and now possibly a third could have been driving a commercial vehicle. I've seen 2 videos within the last week on, I think it was on the police activity channel, where cops were, was it 2 or 3? Where cops were arrested in uniform on the job for being drunk. Just like, what is going on? What's going on, folks? What's going on? Oh, what is this country coming to? I tell you. But anyway, he does appear to be in rather poor financial straits. So, I'm not saying to go donate to him. I'm not going to donate to him. I don't throw good money after bad. I don't throw good money if I know it's going to go bad. But if you feel so inclined, go to Audit the Audit's video on it, or go to Rusty's channel on it, and maybe you want to make a donation, because dude is in bad financial straits. On different news, on the 11th coming up, we have what I have been waiting for forever, is the oral arguments on the Springer versus the 6th Judicial District Court of New Mexico, something along those lines. 6th, 7th, I don't remember. I always get it mixed up with Hibble. So, take it with a grain of salt. But Springer's lawsuit against the judges and the district in New Mexico for allegedly denying him his First Amendment rights. His lawyer, I don't understand. Every lawyer has their own tactics. Every lawyer has their own strategy. His lawyer, Springer's lawyer in this one, did kind of an all or nothing move by allowing the district court case to be dismissed without prejudice in order to prosecute the appeal. Now, I don't know statute of limitations times on any of this stuff, but he might have jeopardized the statute of limitations. If I remember correctly, this case was filed in 2023. It could have been 2024, though. I don't remember exactly. But it is a bit of a risky maneuver. He might have put all of his eggs in one basket. So, the magistrate's opinion was very well reasoned, very well written. I don't know how he's going to be able to attack that. Opposing counsel, the counsel representing the district court and the other defendants, her pleadings, her papers, her motion practice has been very subpar. She hasn't really been able to identify the correct issues. But you counter that with Springer's attorney, whose motion practice has also been pretty crap. beyond quoting founding fathers and Federalist Papers and things like that, like as far as actually like looking at the law, dissecting the law, applying the law to the facts in his particular situation, citing relevant authority for the outcome that he thinks is appropriate. As far as that has been concerned, it's been pretty abysmal. So you've got two retards in a dark closet in a knife fight, and it's going to be interesting. I apologize. I'm recovering from a pretty bad cold. But it's going to be interesting to see what the Court of Appeals does with it. I'm interested in it because I'm going to be interested in seeing what kind of questions that the Court of Appeals are going to ask Springer's counsel and the district court's counsel, because I think the district court is probably going to have a similar reaction to the pleadings, or the pleadings, the appeal paperwork that I did, where it's like, how about we like look at what the actual law is instead of like Federalist Papers, and how about you like break down for me, like with the facts in the law, why I should give you this outcome. And so it's going to be interesting to see how Blair White, I think it is Blair, no, something a Blair, whatever. It's going to be interesting to see how Springer's attorney handles it. Now, remember, Springer's attorney also represented Lane Myers in a different New Mexico case for a short period of time before either he fired Lane Myers or Lane Myers fired him. My best impression of the guy is that while he probably farms the paperwork out to a junior associate, similar to what RC probably does, he's probably pretty good at oral arguments. He's probably a compelling speaker. He's probably charismatic. So it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see that, for me anyway. It'll be interesting to see that oral argument. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get a copy of it to like go over. It is in the morning, and I working man, got to make my money. So, but it'll be interesting to see to listen to it. Unfortunately, while it is streamed to YouTube on the 10th Circuit Court of Appeals YouTube channel, they do delete the live streams after the hearing. So I'm going to try to get a copy of it, maybe have a little watch party go over it, and kind of grade the attorneys, see if my takes match the Court of Appeals takes, things like that. Obviously, it won't. Any opinion by the Court of Appeals is going to be sometime in the coming. Usually, it lags maybe a couple months or so after oral arguments, because they've got to get together. They've got to kind of, with their clerks and everything like that, figure out how they want to answer it, see if they can get a consensus between the three justices that are sitting on that hearing, and if there's any dissents, and then figure out who's going to write it, who's going to write the dissent, if anybody, etc. So there will be a delay there. On other news, Earl, all the paperwork's been in on Earl, so it's going to be interesting to see, I think right now, if my understanding of the Texas Court of Appeals kind of policy is anything. They're circulating the paperwork with justices to see if they want to do an en banc hearing, which means that maybe not all, but a large number of the justices are going to sit in on the oral arguments and participate in the decision, or if they're just going to do a standard 3 justice panel for the rehearing. Excuse me. Or if they're just going to deny it outright, or if they're going to give a hearing at all. So the paperwork's probably moving through that system right now. But the next step is to see whether or not we get a hearing, and or whether or not we just get a denial, or just an outright, we've reviewed it, there's nothing here, we're not interested, thank you very much, have a great day. Because I don't believe that he's entitled as a matter of right, Earl's entitled as a matter of right to the review. in his favor, both his attorney and the state want to have a rehearing on it. So for different reasons. But that is something that might convince the court to have oral arguments and possibly have a new opinion issue. So it'll be interesting. Anyway, that's all I got for you today. I got to get in there and make my bread. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.